Les 21 graad 8, so this is lesson number 21. We're marking the homework of exercise 8.16, ons merk nog 8.16 se huiswerk, so 3 vragies wat jy nog gehad het oor substitusie. Substitusie, as ek vir jou sê dat hier se uitdrukking, y is gelyk aan, vind vir my vir y as x gelyk is aan, dan beteken dit vat hierdie ding kry vir y, x moet net vervang word. It says, if this is given, find y if I give you x. So this is what I want and I have x. Wat moet jy doen? Jy moet vir x gaan vervang met 'n hakie. You must put the brackets where the x is and substitute in. So y equals 4x squared plus 2x minus 3. So in die plek van die x, minus 2. In the place of the x is the minus 2. This is exactly the same sum. It's just again y equals 4x squared plus 2x minus 3, but in this case x is a half and a half. It's the same sum, but there x must be substituted with minus 2, and in hierdie geval moet x vervang word met 'n half. Is presies dieselfde som. Nou for that matter you can just do your calculator, get one answer. You're going to get 1 out of maybe 3 marks or 2 marks, but it's better to do the sums step by step. You can use your calculator. Your calculator must show you then that minus 2 squared is 4. Jy moet eers die mag doen. Min 2 kwadraat is 4. Want 'n negatief tot 'n ewe is 'n plus en 2 kwadraat is 4. A negative to an even exponent is a positive and 2 squared is 2. This one you can time. It's a plus times a minus is a minus and 2 times 2 is 4. The negative 3, die min 3 moet daar bly. Y is die ding wat jy wil oplos. So y is dus gelyk aan 16. Now you can already say that that is minus 7. Or you can keep it 16 minus 4 minus 7, but the answer will be 9. So y is 9. Find y. I found y. Onthou om die vraag te antwoord. Dit is 'n ander manier om dit te doen. Ek kon net so wel vir jou gesê, vereenvoudig hierdie ding as x gelyk is aan min 2. Dan het jy hom vereenvoudig en die antwoord was 9. So dit is net 'n ander kinkel in die kabel. Just a little bit of a difference in the question. I could have just as well asked, if that is the expression, find the expression's value by substituting x with negative 2. And your answer would still be 9. Met hierdie in geval, now I'm testing a little bit of fractions, jou breuke, deur te sê, as ek breuke maal, dis mos eintlik 'n half maal 'n half. It's actually writing out a half and a half, where it'll be 1 times 1 is 1 and 2 times 2 is 4. Sakrekenaar, as jy hom met die blokkietjie op mekaar gesit het en gesê kwadraat, sou hy ook vir jou gesê dis 4. En daai antwoord sal dan wees 4 op 1, gaan uitkansel die antwoord gaan net 1 wees. And some of you do things like this. Please show every step. That minus 3 is going to stay there. For this one, I'm already going to be able to say 2 cancels out and the whole answer is just 1. And it's a plus times a plus stays a plus. Jy kan dit dadelik al daar gaan doen het. Plus maal 'n plus is 'n plus, 2 op 1 maal 1 op 2, of 2 maal 1 is 2, 1 maal 2 is 2, 2 over 2 stays 1. There's so many variations of doing sums. En y is dus gelyk aan plus 1 minus 3. Now again, I could have said minus 2 there already. En dan as ek dit bymekaar tel, gee dit vir my minus 1. So y's answer is negative 1. Goed, ek het vir nommer 4 gegee, net om jou te herinner aan die afstand, spoed en tyd sommetjies. You have done distance, speed and time. But yes, teachers and me, myself also, give it to you with these formulas. Distance, speed and time. I don't know how you English guys did it. If you did it the very scientific way, waar dit staan vir, daai is nog steeds jou afstand, maar daai is jou spoed. En daai is jou tyd. Nou vir graad 8 kinders is dit confusing. So ons hou eerder by afstand, spoed en tyd. For a grade 8 child, it's very difficult to say that that is the speed and that is the distance. They get confused with it. Okay, that is the correct scientific way that you're going to do it. If you do science up to matric or grade 10, 11, that's the way you're going to do it. You've been taught this, distance, speed and time, but it stays the same. And it doesn't matter. They have now given you the speed formula. So they're telling you, listen, this is speed. So you can go to your speed one and say, okay, well, that's V. So hulle sê vir jou dis spoed, so jy kan na jou spoed toe gaan en sê, o, okay, dis nou eintlik die V. Maar dan sê hulle vir jou ook, S is die afstand. They tell you that S is the distance. So in other words, this should be S. Daai moet jou afstand wees wat S is. En T genadiglik dieselfde gebruik. Luckily they didn't change T for time anywhere. So that you would know to use this one. Where that is still distance, speed and time. Afstand, spoed en tyd. Dit moet dieselfde formule wees, maar dit ander afkortings gebruik. So they confused you and that's why I wanted to give it to you. Because it's a little bit higher level when you have to start thinking, not just doing. Goed, so hulle sê toe vir my, S is dan 150. Nou dat jy weet waar die S is, moet hy mos daar staan. They're telling me that S is 150. Now you know that S must be there, not there. That S must be 150 and the T must be 1,5 and they want you to work out V. Hulle wil vir jou die V laat uitwerk. En dis nou ook die ander ding, as 'n mens nou 'n tweetalige vraestel het en dis Afrikaans en Engels en ek wil hierdie vir jou gee, dan is dit die beste manier om dit te gee, want dit is Afrikaans en Engels. This would be a good idea for a matric paper because it's Afrikaans and English. You should know that this is for distance, speed and time. Jy moet eintlik weet dis afstand, spoed en tyd. Jy hoef nie so te gaan leer nie, hou dit soos ons dit jou geleer het. Goed. Maar as ek dan nou weet, jy wil V gaan uitwerk, en hulle dit in elk geval vir jou gegee, do you see that they've given it to you? They said that V is S over T. V is S over T. So all of my lots of talking is just to show you that it can be asked on a different way, but it's the same sum. Actually, all you need to know is, if they say this is the formula, you take the S and you substitute, this is the whole purpose of the explanation, substitute the S with 150 and the T with 1,5. Alhoewel oor die hele operasie gegaan het, is nie regtig afstandspoed en tydsomme nie, dat jy net sal weet, jy moet S vervang en T vervang, en dan vat jy jou sakrekenaar, en jy kry 'n antwoord van 100. Wat nou net 100% reg is, want jy maal hier met 10 en met 10, en dis 100, ja. Good, I just wanted to make sure that it is 100. 100 what? V was the speed. So kilometers per hour. And they said, find the V in terms of kilometers per hour. Nou het ek 'n lang gesprek gehad, net so jy moes weet, you had to substitute and get the answer. Long story. Please don't start thinking you've got to know this, because that's not what I'm saying. If they give you some other formula and they say that K is P times K times R over whatever, then you just do what they give you. Reg. Die hersieningstoets aan die einde van tema 8 voordat ons tema 9 toe gaan. This was the revision test at the end of theme 8 before we go to theme or unit 9. The first question, 5.2, says, subtract the second one from the first one. So you had to get the right one from the right one. Hulle het gesê, trek die tweede een van die eerste een af. Daar het gestaan dit en dit. All that there was this expression and that one, and they said, subtract the second from the first. So in other words, take that one and subtract it, so you keep it in a bracket. So al wat jy dan gaan doen is, en as jy kon optel hier het jy, if you could have added here, you would have, if you could have added here, you would have. Why can't you? Because they're all unlike terms, alles is ongelijksoortig. So jy moet die minus gaan inmaal. So 'n min maal 'n min is 'n plus, en 'n min maal 'n min is 'n plus, en 'n min maal 'n plus is 'n min. That stays the same because there was nothing to be timed, it was actually 1 times all the time. So it's a minus times a minus is a plus, a minus times a minus is a plus, minus times a plus is a minus, and everything else has to be rewritten. Jy moet alles oorskryf. Nou kan ons optel, ja, daar's gelyksoortige terme, so maak the like terms. Die gelyksoortige terme is, daai met die x-kwadrate. Hoe tel jy terme bymekaar? Jy tel die koëffisiënte op. Only the coefficients, minus 3 and 1 is minus 2. It stays x squared. Don't start adding exponents. When you add like terms, the variable stays. You only add the coefficients. As jy gelyksoortige terme op bymekaar tel, bly die veranderlike wat hy was. Jy tel net die koëffisiënte op. Min 3 en plus 1 is min 2. Then we've got plus 2x and plus 6x if you add the like terms. Plus 2 and plus 6 is plus 8, still x. don't add the exponents. En dan is min 3 en min 4, min 7. If you add minus 3 and minus 4, you get minus 7. This cannot go further. This is a trinomial answer. It is also in descending powers. Sien jy dat hy ook in dalende magte van x is? Mag 2, mag 1, daar is nie eers 'n x nie, so sy mag is 0. So it's in descending order if you want. And there are 3 terms. It's a trinomial, 'n 3-term ander woord is 'n trinoom. Al die goedjies wat ons al kon sê. Wat is die graad van die uitdrukking? The degree of this expression is 2. Highest exponent. Good. 6.10. I'm testing if you can simplify. What is there to do? Division. If you could add these, you would have. Maar is almal ongelyksoortig, so kan hulle nie bymekaar tel nie. So ek toets deel. As jy dit so moet deel, hoe het jy vir jou geleer? Skryf elkeen op sy eie noemer. If I write them each on their own denominator, there will be 6 over negative 3a3, negative 3a3, negative 3a3, and then I'll write a big flat plus in the middle with a minus 9a4 and a plus 3a3 there. I told you when we were doing that, that's a lot too much. But if you stick to a certain ritual, then you can't go wrong. Dis eintlik te veel. Maar as jy daarby stiek om te sê, elkeen is min 3a3, maak 'n groot vet plus tussenin, en dan skryf jy daai net soos wat hy is, dan kan jy nie verkeerd gaan nie. You cannot go wrong with that method. Now the method is, if you do this further on, it's going to be first the sign. This sign is a plus divided by minus is a minus. Then 3 can go into 6 2 times. En dan die a tot die 3 en die a tot die 6. Oh, what do I do when it's division? And the bases are the same. You keep the base a. En jy sê 6 minus 3 is 3. You subtract your exponents. 6 minus 3 is 3. Then we've got, what is this sign going to be? A minus divided by a minus is a plus times a plus stays a plus. Then 3 can go into 9 3 times. And then again with the a's, they are the same denominator, same base, selfde grondtal. So wat doen jy met die eksponente? Jy trek hulle af. 4 minus 3 is 1. 4 minus 3 exponents subtracted. Only if the bases are the same. Keep the base, subtract the exponents. Hierdie een se teken gaan wees 'n minus. Because a plus divided by a minus is a minus, and times with a plus stays a minus. Have you seen that if there's one minus together with a lot of pluses, it will be a minus? If there's 2 minuses with a lot of pluses, it'll be a plus. Every time that there's 3 or odd amount, it's negative. As jy 2 minus het, is dit 'n plus. As jy 3 minus het, dit is 'n min. 4 is dit weer 'n plus. 'n ewe aantal is 'n plus, onewe aantal is 'n min. En wat gaan nou daaraan? It's 1. It's the same thing divided by itself as 1. Or you can go 3 into 3 and 8 to the 3 divided by 8 to the 3 and track the exponent off. It'll be 8 to the 0. So if you want to write 8 to the 0, it's right, but you have to simplify because that is then just 1. And I'm finished with my sum, but ek kan nie hierdie bymekaar tel nie want hulle is ongelyksoortig. You cannot add unlike terms, so that answer is finished. Trinomial answer. Again, it's in descending powers of A. En dalende magte van A tot die mag 3 tot die mag 1, 0. If it wasn't that way, well, you couldn't have really done it another way, but if you did switch it around, it wasn't wrong. 6.12, simplify. Onthou, meeste wiskunde onderwysers gaan dit altyd sê, vereenvoudig of los op vir x as dit 'n vergelyking is. The favorite words to use in a question paper is simplify or solve for x, solve the variable. There's no x to solve if it's not an equation, so this has to be simplified. Wat is daar om te doen? What is there to do? If I can inside the bracket add, I will, but I can't, it's unlike. Jy kan nie hier binne optel nie, is ongelyksoortig. Jy kan ook nie daar binne optel nie, is ongelyksoortig. So, dan moet jy uitmaal. So it's distributive law, dis distributiewe wet. And if you time, it's signs, numbers, variables. As jy maal, is dit die teken, dan die getalle, dan die veranderlikes. En as jy maal met veranderlikes, hou die grondtal plus die exponente. If you time variables, you keep the base. add exponents. It's a heap of information, but you do it the same thing over and over. So first, 2 times 3 has always been 6. 2 maal 3. Dan het ek 'n plus maal 'n plus bly 'n plus en 2 maal x. What is 2 times x? It stays 2 times x. That's it. Plus times a minus is a minus and 2 times x squared is 2 times x squared. Jy kan niks aan 2 maal x kwadraat doen nie, dit is 2x kwadraat. Dan sit ek met 'n min maal 'n plus is 'n min. En dan sit 1 maal 4 is 4. Aha, and here comes. If it's x times x, you keep the base and add the exponents to get to x to the 2. Jy tel die eksponente bymekaar. En dan weer distributief is 'n plus maal 'n min 'n min. En 1 maal x is net 1x. And if you want to write 1x, it's fine. Then I can add like terms. So I'm going to add, if you want, you can put 6 first. There's nothing that can go with 6. Then if we're looking for the x's, there's another x that looks the same. You add the coefficients. Plus and a minus 1. Plus 2 and minus 1 is plus 1x. Plus 2 en min 1 is plus 1x. Nou tel jy nie eksponente bymekaar nie. Dis gelyksoortige terme. As jy gelyksoortige terme optel, hou die veranderlike, tel die koëffisiënte bymekaar. As jy maal, hou die grondtal, tel die eksponente bymekaar. Oh my goodness, you've got to keep this all in your head. If you add like terms, you keep the variable, but you add the coefficients. If you time and the bases are the same, you keep the base and add the coefficients. You need to tell yourself this all the time. En dan sit ek nog met die x kwadrate. They are like terms, so you keep the variable, hou die veranderlike, tel die koëffisiënte min 2 en min 4 bymekaar om min 6 te kry. Only add the coefficients. And then that is finished. And in whichever order you did it, it's fine because nobody said anything. This would be in ascending order from the lowest exponent of x, because there is nothing. X's exponent is 0. En dan x tot die 1 en dan x tot die 2. Hierdie is in stygende magte van x. This is ascending powers of x if you wanted to write that way. But any way was right now because nobody said how you must write the answer. Simplify. What is there to do? Wat moet ek eers doen? Jy kan nie sê 'n min maal 'n plus nie, volgorde van bewerkings. Order of operations says you can't do that. First thing you must do is sort this out. So what do you do with an exponent on the outside? You time it with everything on the inside. So it's going to be 3 to the power of 2. And 8 to the power of times there, you get it? 6. As long as everything is timed, as alles hier gemaal is, dan maal jy die eksponente in. 1 maal 2 is 2 en 3 maal 2 is 6. And you keep everything else there, equals everything. Dan, daar is ons nou 9. So if you wanted to immediately write 9, it's fine. You could have left out that step and gone there directly. Ek kon dit dadelik gesê het. Maar nou sit ek met 'n plus maal 'n min is 'n min. 2 maal 9 is 18, maal nog steeds die a tot die mag 6, dit staan net daar. It's a minus times a plus is a minus, the number's timed, and it still times with 8 to the 6, you can't do anything else with it, that's the answer. Your last two questions had some roots in them, om dit weer te kan onthou, the root stuff. Can you separate them and do them separately? Jy mag dit nie apart doen nie, want daar's 'n minus, you cannot put them separate. You have to add them first, and you can because they are like terms. Jy kan optel want dit is gelyksoortig. Wat sê die reël? As ek gelyksoortig is by mekaar tel, hou die veranderlike tel die koëffisiënte op. The rule, if I add like terms, I keep the variable and I add the coefficients. 25 minus 16 is 9. Still in a square root. Jy kan nie die wortel weglos en nou weer terugbring nie. Every step must be equal to each other. So, ek het 25 minus 16 is 9. En nou, hoe doen ons die wortels? What's the rule? What's the toolbox? Wat is in jou toolbox om hierdie ding te doen? Jy weet mos wat is die vierkantswortel van 9 because you know your square numbers. You know that is 3. But what about the x? What's the rule? It's 4 divided by 2, which is 2. Remember, if there's nothing there in the root, it's a 2. Dis 4 gedeel deur die 2. Onthou as daar niks hier is nie, is dit 'n 2. So 4 gedeel deur 2 wat dan 3x kwadraat is. En jy kan dit nie met die calculator doen nie, want jy kan die x daar intik nie. But you can do square root of 9, which will give you 3. But you should know it. Then there's a minus in a root. Can we do this? Can we do this? Ja, ons mag 'n minus in 'n wortel hê as hy onewe is. There can be a minus in the root if it's an odd root. So dan is dit derde magswortel. As hy 'n min is, gaan hy 'n min bly. If it's a minus in there, it's going to stay a minus in the odd root. Then you should know the cube root of 27, which is 3, or do it on the calculator. En dan weer die wet. Same root. 4 divided by 2. 27 divided by 3 gives you 9. En dis die einde van jou sommetjie. Ons is by eenheid 7, tema 7, tema 7. Tema 9, this is theme number 9 or unit number 9. We are working with equations again. Like I said to you, we're always coming back to the same things. We did roots long ago, we did it now again. Jy gaan aanhoudend nog terugkom na wortels toe, ons het dit al gedoen. Ons het mos nou al vergelykings gedoen, selfs in lockdown we've done some equations, we're coming back to them. Jy het al nou vergelykings gedoen, ons gaan in die lockdown, ons gaan dit weer 'n keer doen en jy gaan weer by vergelykings uitkom. Die vergelykingreël wat juffrou vir jou geleer het is, wat jy links doen, moet jy regs doen en gebruik jou kleur. When you're busy with your equations, please use your color so that you can see what I add one side, I add one side. I times on both sides. Maar nou by hierdie eerste oefeningkie, by exercise number 9.1, oefening 9.1, wil hulle hê met jou eie vergelyking maak. Make your own equation. The equation says, and I'm doing number 2, so remember I'm translating. As jy 'n getal by die helfte van daai getal tel, en dan daai antwoord by 'n kwart van die oorspronklike getal tel, is die antwoord 175, kry die getal. Let me read it in English so that you can also be confused. If you add a number by half of that number, and then add that answer to a quarter of the original number, the answer is 175. Get that number. And then you're thinking, what? Okay, let's do this. If you add a number by half that same number, what's the number? What do we like as mathematicians? We say the number is, let me do it here, x. So if you now add that number by half of that number, wat is helfte van daai getal? Tel by helfte van hom. Half of that number is half x. If you add those two. If you add a number by half of that number, and then also add that by a quarter of the original number. What was the original number? Was x. Wat die oorspronklike getal was? X. So also, hierdie antwoord, gaan ek ons nou nog bytel, nog 'n kwart van die oorspronklike een. A quarter of that. Why are they making it so difficult? So because you must read. So if you add a number by half that number, and then take that answer and add it by a quarter of the original number, vat jy die antwoord en tel by nog 'n kwart van die oorspronklike getal, dan is die antwoord 175. Hoe skryf ons dan is die antwoord 175? How do I write the answer is 175? The answer is 175. Now to get that, now the sum usually would be like 3 or 4 marks. Not too much, because kids don't get that right. And that's what we're testing here. If you can do the word problem into an equation. Ons toets eintlik weer die woordsommetjie in 'n vergelyking kan gaan in. Gr.8 is 'n bietjie moeilik. So ek wil nie vir jou al die moeilikes vir huiswerk gee nie. So ek doen 'n moeiliker enetjie hierso. So nou moet jy vir my kan gaan optel wat hier aangaan. Nou genigtig. Nou moet ek gaan woes vergelykings doen. But it's also, because we've been doing a little bit of fractions, jy het mos nou ook 'n bietjie breuke gedoen. Hoe tel ek hierdie goed bymekaar? How will I add them together? Do you still see that I can write x plus a half x plus a quarter x? So, as ek dit wil bymekaar tel, en juffrou het nou vir jou gesê, maar dit is nie so vreeslik gelyk nie. As jy gelyksoortige terme wil optel, tel die koëffisiënte bymekaar. If you want to add like terms, add the coefficients to each other. Hoe tel jy 1 en 'n half en 'n kwart bymekaar? En sê dis dan 'n sekere hoeveelheid x. That's what you're going to be doing. You can take your calculator, but you're supposed to actually do it without the calculator. But it's the same principle. We're busy with algebra, adding like terms, so we're adding 1 and a half and a quarter together. And you don't have to show that step. So if I add them together, now you can't do that without getting the LCD. So as jy dit sou gedoen het, sou jy gesê, okay, die KGV is dan 'n kwart, nee. So 4 kwarte, 2 kwarte, 1 kwart gee vir jou. Hoeveel gee dit vir jou? 7 kwarte maal met x. So the answer is still 175. The answer is still 175, and this is not the only way of doing this sum. Okay? So 1 plus a half plus a quart. Some of you might have gone to your calculator and said 1 plus a half plus a quarter, and it would have given you 7/4, and you would have lost 1 mark, because we need to see you adding the fractions here. Ons wou graag gesien het hoe jy die breuke hier optel, want dit het gegaan oor die breuke. In baie vraestelle verskil van mekaar tot van vraestel tot vraestel. Maybe sometimes we would have given a mark for the LCD and sometimes not. So if you just added 1.5 and a quarter together and got 7/4 directly, maybe you wouldn't even lost a mark. But now back to equations. Hoe raak ek ontslaaf van daai 7/4? What will I do on both sides with my color pen so that I can see what's left to get rid of that 7/4? Jy maal mos met die resiprook. You times by the reciprocal. So times by 4/7, and my color doesn't want to work now. Dan maal jy mos hier ook met 4/7. And you do that on your calculator, and if you say 175 times with 4 divided by 7 gives you 100. So dan is x gelyk aan 100. Want onthou nou, jy probeer vir x alleen kry. I'm trying to get x alone. This is solving equations. So I've got to get rid of the 7/4 by timing with the reciprocal. So it's just 1x equals 100. Let's see if it works. If you take 100 and you add half of that to it, and then you add another quarter of the original one, kwart van die oorspronklike een is ons 25. Does it give you 175? Do you see that it works? As jy nou gaan kyk of jy sommetjie reg was, hulle het gesê, die oorspronklike getal, het ek by hom getel helfte van hom, helfte van 100, en dan tel ek by kwart van die oorspronklike, kwart van 100 is ons 25, en dit tel op na 175 toe. It does work out. The nice thing about word problems is you can always go check yourself at the end. As het gewerk het, dan weet jy jou sommetjie is reg. Ek gaan vir jou nog enetjie voorbeeld doen. Okay, this is going to be your homework. En die ene wat ek nou doen like baie soos nommer 6, the one I'm going to be doing now is like number 6 is. The question is not in your textbook. 3 consecutive integers add up to 54. Find the numbers. 3 consecutive integers. What does that mean? If I have 5, the next one is 6, the next one is 7. If I have 70, 71, 72, those are consecutive numbers. They add on to each other. 3 opeenvolgende heelgetalle tel op na 54. So as die een getal 3 is, dan is die volgende een 4 en 5. As die een 17 is die een 18, 19. As die een 20 is die ander 21, 22. Dis opeenvolgende heelgetalle. Maar nou moet ek weet wat hulle is. So we'll call them X, Y, Z. No. Jy kan dit nie X, Y en Z noem nie, want hoe wil jy dit nou gaan vereenvoudig? Jy gaan sê die getalle, the numbers are. Let's start with our favorite, X. What will be the next one? What do you have to add to 7 to get to the next one? 8. 1. Wat moet ek doen om van 7 af by 8 uit te kom? Wat tel jy by? 1. Om by die volgende ene by te kom, die volgende een sal x plus 1 wees. The next one, the consecutive one, should be adding another 1. And the next one will be add another 1. So it should be there by 2. Nie tel 2 by nie, dit nie die volgende ene nie. If you've added 1 to the next one, you should add 2 to the original one to get to the next one. So it's going to be x, then x plus 1, x plus 2, x plus 3, x plus 4, x plus 5. That's how they will follow on each other. As jy een getal het en jy tel 1 by, dis die volgende een. En as jy nog 1 by daai 1 tel, dis dit mos plus 2. Dan gaan dit x, x plus 1, x plus 2, x plus 3, x plus 4 wees. So volg hulle op mekaar. So the numbers I will call x, x plus 1, x plus 2. And it's not the same, it won't be different if you said x, x minus 1, x minus 2. Okay, go check it out if you want a little bit of a interesting story there. You're going to get to the same answers. Because now, all I know is if I add them together, I'm going to get 54. So wat moet jy skryf? tel alles by mekaar, add them all together, and I should get 54. Now this is a normal equation. You can add the like terms, the x's, and how many x's is that? 1x and 1x and 1x gives 3x. Jy kan die gelyksoortige terme optel, 1x en 1x en 1x is 2x, ag 3x, en 1 plus 2 is 3. En hoe sal jy dit nou gaan uitwerk? If I want to get rid of that, my 3, not this one first, that one first, by minusing with 3 and minusing with 3, I've got to get some new red. So that's a 3x gelijk aan 51. How do I get rid of the times 3? You divide by 3, you divide by 3. En as jy dit gaan deel, dan kry jy jou antwoord is 17. The answer is 17 if you divide. What does that mean? My first number that I called x is 17. If you wanted to call it x, x minus 1, x minus 2, then your first one wouldn't have been 17. Just go check it out, those of you who are interested. So dan, wat is jou getalle? So the numbers are, die getalle is 17, en dan 18 en 19. And how will I know if those answers are right? If it's 17 for x, then it's not 18 and 19. Add them together and see if it's 54. Yes, it is. So please try those. I know that word sums aren't your favorite. Woordprobleem is nie mense se gunstelinge nie, maar probeer jou bes dat ons kan aangaan met die gewone vergelykings.